Your host for today's program, former helicopter pilot Sky Chief 195th Assault Company, Republic of Vietnam, Dale Throneberry.
And that was Major Earl Carlson. Major, welcome to Veterans Radio.
Welcome. Nice to be there.
Major Carlson had to deal with another project the next day around 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
You mean me?
Yes. You were the one that was there.
Yeah,
we had a little disruption.
Let me limit my comments. How much time do we have?
We've got about 20 minutes total.
Oh, well, I'm not going to take anywhere near that much, but a couple comments. The kind of unit the 195th was. Actually, I was sent by the DA, and I reported to the new commander from my base. I'd flown up from Texas, Fort Walters, and so he said, "You're not going to command a unit under me. You're a tech service officer. I'm not going to have you. I'll get a combat officer." So I went back to Texas and called the Pentagon, and they said, "Well, he didn't have anything to say about it. You're going to be the commander whether he likes it or not." Yes, sir. So a couple months later, I walk in and I say, "Colonel, here are my orders from Department of Army. I'm going to command this unit whether you or I like it or not. If you stay off my back for 60 days, and if you don't like the way we're doing, I'll call the Pentagon and ask to be relieved." We made a pact right there. And that's a hell of a position to get into when you're going to take a unit into combat.
Yeah.
Then they sent me almost all of the pilots were right out of flight school. Had never had 1 minute of flying time from the time they graduated to the time they started flying with us, which was a great liability, but it was also a great asset because they hadn't picked up any bad habits. And I had a number of officers who were had just come back from Vietnam. They weren't very happy about it. So, you got a bunch of lemons there, and you got to do something with it. So we turned out making lemonade of them, and we had a tremendous training tour up in Colorado. We got to Vietnam, and the second night after we got there, they had a huge mission. I don't know how many hundred helicopters were out there. There must have been a bunch, but we were 34 of them. And we picked up our people and took them out there, and I had no idea how my young people were going to do first time in combat. A lot of the young men had been drafted in. They didn't particularly want to be there. But we built a fair amount of esprit de corps. And we approached this area, and the rockets and machine guns were going off, and the flares were all over, and it was one hell of a battlefield out there. And here we've got all these people we don't know we had picked up along the way, and we're dropping them in there. And I've looked back a number of times at the way in which those men conducted themselves, my pilots and crew chiefs, and no one got out of line, no one got scared, no one screwed up, and for hours we were shuttling those people in and out of there with great discipline, and I was so proud of those guys, and I just had to take a few minutes to tell you how great they were.
Well, I can tell you that the tradition that you started when you first got to Vietnam continued on the whole time I was there. I've never met a finer group of men in my whole life. Because every single one of them were willing to lay their lives on the line for anybody else.
I was a hard nose because I was over there once before. This is my second tour, and I made them run every morning. I made the officers run with the enlisted men, and all of us. And I remember falling down myself, and they all laughing at me. But I wanted them to have self-confidence and to feel that they could get back to our home unit if they got shot down. Those kind of things.
Well, you had to have a certain arrogance to be a pilot anyway. You had to be confident. You were flying around in a box that was a pretty good-sized target, so you had to have a lot of courage, I think, that most people didn't think about. And we didn't think about it. We didn't think, well, we were doing it.
Had a nice overhead fan there to keep...